The story begins thousands of years ahead in the future, when a very dangerous war called the 60-Minute War took place between the countries of the world, in which humans almost destroyed the Earth. After this war, whoever survived, they made their new cities together, which could go from one place to another with the help of tires. But then, after a while, the big cities started hunting small towns and villages in which they used to defeat the people of small towns and make them their slaves. But in Asia, there was a group of some cities who had made a compromise and joined hands, and then they built a protective wall called Shield Wall all around their area so that the other cities could not attack them. Then one day, we see a girl named Hester who found out that London City is coming to attack the Selzikian village. Hester had only one goal in his life: to kill London's head historian Thaddeus. So she ran to the people of Selzikian village so that when London City captured them, Hester would reach London with them. Suddenly, the alarm started ringing loudly, and Selzikian village ran away from its place to avoid the attack of London. Because of this, the people inside were in a frenzy. On the other hand, the people of London were very happy to see this prey. Selza Khan was moving forward with all his might, but London was much faster and more powerful than him. Then Selza Khan's drivers dropped all the grains on the ground so that the load would reduce and they could run fast. Now they were moving fast towards the trench. Soon, they were about to fall into the trench when they changed direction. But suddenly, some of their arms and attire broke and separated. Meanwhile, London grabbed their collar and pulled them with ropes. And the whole village now settled in London. When the people of Selza Khan reached inside, they were ordered to hand over all their electronic devices to the guards. Meanwhile, we see Thaddeus's daughter Catherine, who was in London Museum at that time, where electronic devices like smartphones and toasters were kept as ancient things. Catherine was waiting for historian Tom, who was late as usual. He reached the museum very quickly, tearing the crowd. And then he helped Catherine to find information about 60-Minute War. Tom showed her a machine which he had made by joining old parts together. In this, he played a video in which the whole city was destroyed by a nuclear bomb named Medusa. To stop this nuclear weapon named Medusa, ancient humans had made a crash drive. Tom saw that some of his parts had disappeared, but when he told this to his boss, he didn't pay attention to what he said. Then Tom made a secret cabin that only opened with a password. Then he took Catherine inside where he kept the old weapons. But he didn't know that historian Herbert was watching all this. Now Tom said that Tom is not a historian anymore. He has to go to the lower levels and do the cleaning work. Herbert knew that it would be very crowded outside, and Tom would not be able to reach on time, which would give him a chance to get out of the job. But Catherine told Tom that she can take Tom there as soon as possible. Catherine took him to the lower level and steal the devices collected from the new prisoners and take them to the museum. If he does not reach there in time, the workers will throw them in the dumpster and then burn them in the fire. There, in the lower levels, the prisoners met with Selza Khan were being checked and their weapons were being snatched. Hester moved forward very easily because he had hidden his knife in the clothes. Tom quickly reached the dump and started collecting old devices. Then Thaddeus also reached there because he found a fusion inverter cell from the prisoners, which was very dangerous according to Thaddeus. Anyway, Tom told him that the engineers have stolen all the cells in the museum, so Thaddeus said that he will handle this matter himself. Then a man from Cell's account pushed a guard, and there was a fight between the guards and the prisoners. Then Thaddeus shouted and told them to stop. Taking advantage of this chaos, Hester came very close to Thaddeus to attack him. At that moment, Tom's eyes fell on her and she tried to warn Thaddeus, but it was too late. Suddenly, Hester announced that it was a revenge for his mother's death and stabbed Thaddeus in the stomach. As soon as Thaddeus pushed him, his mask came off and everyone saw that Hester had a huge scar on his face. Hester attacked him again and tried to finish him off, but Tom grabbed him and threw his knife. Then Hester got angry and started beating him, and the alarms went off. That means the officers were about to reach there. Hester ran away from there, and Tom followed him. He jumped from a broken bridge and went to the other side, and Tom also jumped behind him. Now they had come to the village of Selzakin, which was being destroyed by the help of big machines. Now they had to run away from the machines very carefully. Also, one after another, buildings were falling down there. so they had to save their lives as soon as possible. Now they were jumping from one place to another, but now a machine was moving fast from behind, burning everything and moving towards him. At the same time, Hester opened a door and went inside, and then closed the door. Then Tom opened the door with full force and started following Hester again. Meanwhile, Hester saw that Thaddeus was coming to catch him from the front, so he turned back at that moment. Now he jumped into the well of the garbage to save herself from getting caught. But suddenly Tom grabbed her hand and saved her. Then Hester asked Tom to ask Thaddeus about the marks on his face and his dead mother. And then she jumped into the well. In a few moments, Thaddeus reached Tom, and Tom repeated Hester's words. But after hearing this, Thaddeus pushed Tom into the well. Soon Catherine and the other guards also came there. But Thaddeus lied to them that Tom and Hester fell down due to the broken railing. But at the same time, Catherine's eyes fell on a man named Beavis, who was already hidden there. Anyway, now all the garbage used to fall out of the city from the well of garbage dump. So obviously Tom and Hester must have fallen there. So airplanes were sent to find them, but they were unsuccessful in their mission. Actually, Hester was hiding on the track made by the city's traffic, and he hid Tom under the leaves. When the airplanes went back, he stole money and a knife from Tom's pocket. At the same time, Tom regained consciousness, and he started following Hester. So Hester got angry and threatened him with a knife. But Tom still didn't stop, and he said that it's better for him to move forward together. On the other hand, in London, Mayor Crumb scolded Thaddeus a lot because he was not able to accomplish his goal. Now Thaddeus reached to his best scientist, who was preparing a special weapon for him. But he was short of old electric devices, because of which it would take many more weeks to complete his work. Then Thaddeus gave him a fusion cell, which he got from the prisoners of Salsican. Then the scientist told him that in a jail on the seaside, a creature has been caught which is half zombie and half robot. He is a dangerous hunter who always shouts the name of Hester. Now Thaddeus sat in the plane and went towards the sea, where in a jail hanging over the sea, that animal named Shrike was trapped. Actually, Shrike was looking for Hester because Hester had broken a promise, because of which Shrike wanted to kill him. Thaddeus also wanted to kill Hester, so he attacked with his airplane and broke the chains of the jail so that the jail fell straight down and Shrike was freed. On the other hand, Catherine found Beavis revealed that Thaddeus had pushed them down and tried to kill them. Beavis said that there is no energy project going on in the cathedral, but a big conspiracy is going on in his yard. But he himself could not reach the truth because the guards of the cathedral did not let him in. Now Catherine decided to help him. Hester and Tom were moving ahead, so Hester taught him to drink dirty water to stay alive. Then he shared his food with Tom, but Tom was very scared because the food was 1,000 years old. But Hester explained to him that food made with old technology never goes bad. Then at night, when Hester was sleeping, he had a bad dream in which he was running fast in a field and his face was bleeding from a deep wound. When Hester's eyes opened, he saw that Tom was moving his hands and legs and calling 2 villages towards him to get shelter. But unfortunately, they turned out to be attackers who tried to trap them by throwing the shackles. At that moment, Tom pushed Hester to save her, and they both ran at full speed. Now Tom was having trouble climbing up, so Hester pulled him up. But as soon as Tom came up, Hester was gone. Now both the villages were about to attack him when he slipped behind and suddenly fell into a tunnel. Actually, Hester and Tom both fell into the tunnel and came to an underground city called Scuttlebug. In a few moments, this city also started moving. First, the driver and his wife treated them very well, but soon they imprisoned Hester and Tom in a cell. Hester told Tom that when she was 8 years old, her mother Pandora died. Her mother Pandora was an archaeologist who traveled around the world to find more information about history. Thaddeus was her best friend, and he used to come to meet her. But one day, he found something from the ground that was extremely dangerous. When Pandora came to know that Thaddeus is trying to use her for his own purposes, Pandora snatched the box and they started fighting. In this fight, Thaddeus lost a lamp which set the whole house on fire. Pandora gave Hester a necklace and asked her to keep it safe. But suddenly, Thaddeus stabbed her in the stomach. Hester tried to save her mother, but Thaddeus stabbed him as well, which made him bleed. Then Hester saved her life and ran away from there, and Thaddeus stole that dangerous box. After hearing the story, Tom asked Hester for his knife and opened a hole by taking out a bench on the ground. Now she could have jumped from here and saved her life, but Hester's leg was injured and she could not jump so low. So she asked Tom to jump alone, but Tom refused to leave her alone and closed the gate again. After that, the driver and his wife took them to another village where they were going to sell them as slaves. When the bidding started, a famous rebel named Anna said that she would buy Hester, but the man who bid knew that Anna had a big reward on his head, so he wanted to capture Anna, but Anna shot him in the head. This caused a ruckus in the crowd and guards there, because Anna was shooting everyone who came to her side. Then Hester picked up a dead guard's gun and shot Tom's chains and released him. After that, they both ran away together, and here Anna turned her gun into a sword. And now he was cutting the throat of every man who attacked him mercilessly. And there was a blade hidden in his shoes, and he was kicking his enemies to sleep. Tom and Hester were running away, saving their lives. But there were small, walking villages all around. They somehow managed to reach an open area through their way. But there, Shrike stopped him. He had no other option, so he jumped on a big tire of a village, and then jumped on another tire and reached a platform. But Shrike also reached him easily. But before he could attack Hester, Anna came there with her aircraft and fired at Shrike. As soon as Hester boarded her aircraft, Anna left without taking Tom with her. But Hester was not going to leave him alone in trouble. So she threw a rope towards Tom, and Tom started climbing towards the plane. But Shrike was also coming up, holding the rope from behind. Now Anna asked Hester to give a blade and cut the rope. But Hester threw the knife towards Tom, which cut the rope, and Shrike fell down. When they went a little far, Anna left the plane in autopilot mode and healed Hester's wounds. Anna said, "I knew your mother Pandora, and she was looking for Hester since her death." Anna was not able to understand how Hester spent so many years alone. Then Tom realized that Shrike had raised him.